In the last video, we discussed the relationship between standard free energy change and standard enthalpy change and standard entropy change. We have seen that the value of standard free energy change for an equilibrium reaction changes with temperature. In this video, let us apply this concept in Ellingham diagram, which is used to find the suitable reducing agent for metal oxide. So we know that standard free energy change is written as for an equilibrium reaction, the standard free energy change can also be given as where the K is equilibrium constant, R is universal gas constant, T is temperature in Kelvin. In both the expressions, we can see that delta G naught value changes with temperature. Now, to understand the Ellingham diagram and its application in metallurgy, let us consider the decomposition reaction of a metal oxide. Let us assume that this decomposition reaction of metal oxide is in equilibrium. Since different metal ions have different valencies, the formula for metal oxides are also different. Let us assume the general formula MXOY for the metal oxide. The metal oxide MXOY decomposes to give metal M and oxygen gas. Let us write this reaction for the production of 1 mole oxygen. Now we have to balance this equation. Since we keep 1 mole oxygen, we no need to change the number of moles of oxygen in the product side. The number of oxygen atoms in the product side is 2, but in the reactant side we have Y. So how we can change the Y number of oxygen atoms into 2? So this we can do dividing Y by Y and multiply by 2. So this MXOY is multiplied by 2 and divided by Y. So we have 2 oxygen atoms. Next, the number of metal atoms in the reactant side is 2x by Y. So number of metal atoms produced should be 2x by Y. So this is the balanced reaction for decomposition of metal oxide in equilibrium. Let this reaction be 1 and the standard free energy change for this reaction be delta G naught 1. Let us also consider the formation of carbon dioxide reactions from carbon and carbon monoxide. Let us assume that these reactions are also in equilibrium. All are written for 1 mole oxygen. Let the standard free energy change for this reaction be delta G naught 2. Then formation of carbon dioxide from carbon monoxide. Since we keep 1 mole oxygen constant, we have to take 2 moles of CO. But this is reaction 3 and its standard free energy changes delta G naught 3. Now we have to say, can carbon act as reducing reagent for this metal oxide? or carbon monoxide act as reducing agent for this metal oxide. Let us add the reactions 1 and 2. Oxygen cancel, so we have the standard free energy change for first reaction is delta G01, and for the second one delta G02. Then for this reaction should be delta G01 plus delta G02. This reaction is feasible only when the sum of standard free energy changes of these two reactions is less than 0, that is negative. Then carbon can act as reducing agent for this metal oxide to produce the metal M. If the sum is greater than 0, that is positive, then carbon cannot act as reducing agent for this metal oxide. Similarly, if we add the reactions 1 and 3, the net reaction is the standard free energy changes for these reactions. For the net reaction, and this reaction is feasible when the sum is less than 0, that is negative, and carbon monoxide can act as reducing agent for this metal oxide. Suppose if the sum is positive, carbon monoxide cannot act as reducing agent for this metal oxide. So this is the method for finding out the suitable reducing agent of a metal oxide, and this can be done using Ellingham diagram, which is a plot of standard free energy change versus temperature for the formation of various metal oxides in equilibrium. In constructing Ellingham diagram, it is assumed that the metal oxide formation reactions are the formation of oxides of elements. Reactions are in equilibrium. The reaction between an element and oxygen to form the oxide of the element is assumed to be in equilibrium in the construction of Ellingham diagram. So this is reverse of the metal oxide decomposition reaction. So here also the number of moles of oxygen is kept 1 mole while balancing the reaction. So here we can see that as the reaction proceeds in the forward direction, the number of moles of gaseous substance decrease. So the entropy change for this reaction is negative. Standard entropy change for this reaction should be negative, and the entropy change is 0 because this is an equilibrium reaction. We cannot say that delta S is not 0. Delta S is 0 because this is an equilibrium reaction, and delta G is also equal to 0. Delta G is also is equal to 0. This we have proved in the previous video. Since this is an equilibrium reaction, it takes place at constant temperature. Delta H is also equal to 0. But delta G naught is not equal to 0. So delta G naught is equal to delta H naught minus T delta S naught. And for this reaction, delta S naught is less than 0, negative, because as the reaction proceeds in the forward direction, the number of moles of gaseous substance decrease. So the delta S naught value is negative. When delta S naught is negative, negative of negative will be positive. So the slope for the line drawn between delta G naught and T. So this plot will be a straight line of positive slope. The reason is delta S naught here has negative sign. Y-intercept is delta H naught. Since slope is positive, minus into minus plus, this plot will be like this. So delta G naught value increases with rising temperature, and this is called Willingham diagram for the formation of oxides of various elements which are assumed to be in equilibrium. So for this reaction, delta G is 0 but delta G naught is 0, and del G naught can also become 0 when delta H naught is equal to T del S naught, delta G naught is equal to 0, or the temperature at which the delta G naught becomes 0 is delta H naught by delta S naught. We have seen that this delta G naught for an equilibrium reaction can be written as minus RT log K, where K is equilibrium constant, and here minus RT log product side we have metal oxide, so activity of metal oxide power 2 by Y divided by activity of metal power 2x by Y into partial pressure of oxygen. Since metal oxide and metal are in solid state, the activity of these are unity. Therefore, this expression now is written as or RT long partial pressure of oxygen. Hence, Ellingham diagram can also be represented like this. However, here we can see that delta G naught is equal to RT log. So when oxygen starts to react, its partial pressure will be less than 1. So whenever we take log or log value for a quantity less than 1, it will be negative. The logarithmic or log value of any numerical value which is less than 1 is always negative. If a numerical value is greater than 1, its log or log value is greater than 0. So this value is negative, and hence the delta G naught is negative. When the partial pressure of oxygen is greater than 1, delta G naught will be positive. In such case, the carbon metal oxide formation reaction is not feasible. Now let us discuss the features of Ellingham diagram one by one. Since we know that for most of the metal oxide formation reactions, the standard free energy change is given as, it should be standard free energy change, not simply free energy change, because it is 0, given as this, given by this expression. And here delta S naught is less than 0 for most of the metal oxide formation reactions. When this is less than 0, that is negative, the slope will be positive. Slope is greater than 0. For the plot of delta G naught versus temperature, slope will be positive for most of the metal oxide formation reaction. However, for the formation of carbon monoxide from carbon, the slope is negative. Formation of carbon monoxide from carbon. So here 1 mole of gas react and produce 2 moles of products. So standard entropy change is greater than 0, positive. When delta S naught is greater than 0, minus T del S naught will be less than 0, that is negative. So the slope is negative. Delta S naught is positive, so slope is negative. For the plot of delta G naught versus T, for the formation of carbon monoxide from carbon and oxygen. As already mentioned, when the temperature increases, the delta G naught becomes less negative, and at one temperature, which is equal to delta H naught by delta S naught, delta G naught becomes 0, and beyond that temperature, delta G naught is positive, and the metal oxide is unstable beyond this temperature. So as T increases, delta G naught becomes less negative. When T is equal to delta H naught by delta S naught, delta G naught is equal to 0, and when the temperature is greater than this temperature, that is delta H naught by delta S naught, the metal oxide is unstable. It spontaneously decomposes, giving metal and oxygen. Fourth, change in slope in the Ellingham diagram is observed when the physical state of the substance oxide changes. So initially the metal oxide may be in solid state. At some temperature, at high temperature, it may melt and come to liquid state. Now this change in slope is observed. So phase transition leads to change in slope, solid to liquid, liquid to gas, etc. Next we shall discuss the applications of Ellingham diagram. Using this Ellingham diagram, suitable reducing reagent for given metal oxide can be predicted. So this is the Ellingham diagram for formation of metal oxide reactions in equilibrium. Here the formation of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide reactions are also given. Here we can see that the most reactive metals react fast with oxygen to form oxide, and the standard free energy change for these reactions is more negative and found bottom of the graph, and less electropositive elements have less reactivity and the standard free energy change value is less negative, and they are found at the top of the graph. Generally, a metal for which the standard free energy change for the formation of oxide is more negative can act as reducing agent for a metal for which the standard free energy change for the formation of oxide is less or negative. For example, aluminum oxide can be reduced to aluminum by calcium. So the top line represents metal oxide that can be reduced. The lower line represents the metal that can be used as reducing agent. In the same graph, we can see that the formation of oxides of active metals lie below the formation of oxide of carbon, that is carbon dioxide, which means these active metals cannot be reduced by carbon at low temperature. However, at high temperature, these lines for the formation of metal oxides of active metals can cross the carbon dioxide line, and in that temperature the reduction by carbon is possible, but these metals at very high temperature react with carbon to form carbides. Next, limitations of Ellingham diagram. This Ellingham diagram is constructed based on thermodynamic considerations. It predicts whether the reaction takes place or not. That is, it says whether a given reagent can act as reducing agent or not for the metal oxide. It doesn't say the rate at which the reduction will take place, and also it does not say anything about the side reactions. For example, active metals at high temperature, when they are reduced with carbon, they form metal carbides. So the side reactions are not described by Ellingham diagram. Second, this diagram is constructed based on the assumption that the reaction is at equilibrium. It is very difficult to maintain the reaction at equilibrium practically. That is, the reactants are in equilibrium with products, which is always not true. If you like this video, you can share with your friends. If you want to provide suggestions, you can reach us through the email IDs given or the WhatsApp number 94863 If you want to watch further videos, you can subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you.